next section. Let's have a fight.
I'm keeping my mouth shut, man. I am.
No, you're not. You're not. That actually, I really like that response because I mentioned it in passing before we started recording, and you were really passionate about it. And I said I can't wait to
argue with you.
I cannot wait to argue this one. And you were just like, how are you going to do that?
Because I was asking, and then you showed me the list. I'm like, oh, here we go.
And I went on a rant.
I'm not saying I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you're wrong, and I don't think you're wrong.
I don't think I've changed your mind.
But I think I understand your argument more, and I understand what your point is. Absolutely. Sorry, we may as well get into it.
Yeah. Ultimately, let's preface this by saying that there's no right or wrong in this. The beauty of morals is there's no good and bad, right and wrong. There's only what people decide and to agree is good and what is bad. And even then, even if people agree, there was a time where we all agreed that slavery was cool, but now we look back and go that was wrong. So I don't think there's a right or wrong here. I think there's good arguments on both sides, and I totally see both sides. This isn't really me about me taking a stance. It's about me putting one further nail in the coffin of all you fucking virtue signaling motherfuckers all over Facebook that just want to show everybody how good you are and how nice you are and how you're going to do the right thing. Anyway, yeah, Mike, why don't you tell us the situation with As I Lay Dying?
First of all, I'd like to issue a correction from what I said in the last podcast. I said thy art is murder. I'm talking about Tim Lambesis. My apologies, gentlemen.
That's because you were thinking about murder.
Well, that's it. I mean, both of them have got death in their name. They're both 4 words. And they both get put into like TAIM and AILD. That's just my ignorance. I don't listen to metalcore pretty much at all, if not as an adult. So my apologies to those guys and the fans who pointed that out, because I certainly didn't remember giving the wrong name. Anyway, sorry. As I Lay Dying are a metalcore band who had a fairly good career. I think they've done very well for themselves, and then they were seen as Christian metalcore. They were very, at least earlier in their career, into the middle of their career, they were actively talking that they were a Christian band, so therefore Christian values, etc. And in true Christian fashion, Tim Lambesis decided to hire a hitman to kill his wife, which turned out not to be a hitman, was actually an undercover policeman, and he went to jail for it. So you're not even good at having your wife killed, Tim. Why would I want to listen to your band? And he's decided to bring the band back out. I think it's all original members. The promo video was like a hype builder, and it was the original members all picking up their instruments, blah blah blah, and then someone lifting the microphone, but it didn't show you who. Oh, I wonder who it'll be. It's Tim Lambesis. It's as far as I'm concerned, and I'm just going to say it anyway, it's a desperate money grab from a man who is devoid of morals. We'll go from there. Levi's got some interesting views on that view in general.
No, I think you're totally right. Of course, you're totally right. I don't think I'd say it's a desperate money grab. Like ultimately, how long did he? 2 years, something like that.
I don't know the ins and outs.
But he's out. He needs to support his family.
Probably. I don't think they're with him anymore, mate. Did you miss what happened?
Yeah, he's probably paying alimony though.
Oh, he might still be supporting his children.
She's still riding the
at least
alimony
financially,
pony, as they say. Maybe that's why you wanted rid of her. So, point is, like, we all have bills to pay. Like, he's got to do something to make a living, and
maybe he could become a hitman.
Yeah, staring down the barrel of flipping burgers in McDonald's, or thinking to yourself, well, I could try the band thing one more time and see what happens.
You want something done right, you do it yourself.
Yeah, they're like, absolutely. If you want to kill your wife, just kill your wife.
Let's just move on, shall we?
I'm not giving legal advice.
I fucking hope not.
So, no, I totally agree. Like, just a moral scumbag, horrible person. But, big but here. And I actually didn't mention this at all when we talked about it earlier. Mm-hmm. I think it's really, really important to really ask yourself if when someone commits a crime, and they are handed a sentence for that, and they serve their time, not have they been forgiven or anything like that, but are crimes and criminal convictions death sentences? Because it seems what people are saying is this man shouldn't be allowed to have a career now.
But that's not a death sentence. That's the way I see it personally. Sorry to interrupt. Is that as a frontman of a Christian metalcore band, or as a metalcore band, or any band in general who has a good public image and a large following, you should be using your influence and your visibility for good, for positive. You should be a role model. I don't think holding someone in esteem of his nature as a role model is really appropriate. I think that's where I take issue from it. And as I say to you, my bias is that I didn't really like the band anyway. I couldn't name any of their songs. They don't stick out to me.
Yep.
But I didn't listen to too much metalcore when I was younger anyway, so maybe I'm saying that just because it's throwaway to me. They're not. There's no sentimental value of the band. There's no link. Like if it was All That Remains, I'd maybe be like, oh wait a wee minute, because I did love The Fall of Ideals. I thought it was a great album. Right. It's kind of my introduction to well produced metal guitar.
I don't think he's a I forget the words you use now. I don't think he's in a position of influence though.
Well,
I mean,
the amount of fans who are defending him.
Sure, there will be people that will be defending him, but really they're not. I don't think they're defending him.
No, they are.
They're not defending his position. I really don't think they are. I think they're trying to defend their right to enjoy something that they want to enjoy. To be told that I'm not a bad person because I want to listen to someone that's done bad things. And I can understand wanting to defend that position. I can, as we'll come on to when I list artists that have done terrible things.
Plenty better and plenty worse people.
Yeah. So I also think there'll probably be a significant portion of their audience that don't really know or care what happened. Like it's just not news to them.
Artists.
And when I say a life sentence, let's be realistic here, right? If he had come out of prison and decided he wasn't going to do As I Lay Dying anymore, if he decided he was going to go and work for McDonald's flipping burgers, right? Someone's going to find out, and then the same fucking websites, Metal Sucks and the like, are going to go, Tim's working for fucking McDonald's. This isn't right, scumbag murderer. What we need to do is all tweet at McDonald's and make sure they get rid of him. Like, this is a witch hunt. People are going after the guy and just trying to make sure that he can't move forward with his life.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I do. Without a shadow of a doubt.
I think I'd need to see that in action to agree, but I totally get where you're coming from.
We see job lynch mobs all the time.
I'm not saying that doesn't happen, and it's very much public, and I can see why, if that's your opinion on it, why you're annoyed about the idea of, or you take umbrage to virtue signalers in this instance, because you're not doing it for good, you're doing it to show off. But I don't personally agree they would be the same kick up.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it's speculation, isn't it?
But I get your point. At the end of the day, these people aren't attacking him because he's done something bad. They're attacking him because they don't want him to have been past that point.
But the reason I say it, the reason I speculate that way, is because, as I say, you know, Metal Sucks wrote about them to say we're never going to write about them again.
Don't write about them then.
So why are you writing about them then? You know, Trey Xavier over at Gig Gods, he made a really funny video actually where he did a cover of one of their songs, and he like played a note and then he picked up his phone and made a joke about like
that'll be all gone then.
Yeah, exactly.
She's definitely gone.
Yeah, and
Kill, how much do you?
Yeah,
that kind of shit.
Like it was funny. It was genuinely quite funny. I laughed at it, even though you could see it coming a mile away. I don't think it was a well executed joke, but a joke doesn't need to be well executed for it to be funny. He could have dressed it up a little bit more. But then again, at the end, there was the thing that came up and said, "Don't give Tim your money," kind of thing. So it's not a political motive, but the point is like you're trying to influence people and you're trying to make out like he's not deserving of your money. That means he's also not deserving of your attention. If you take that much of an issue with him, stop fucking talking about him. Stop driving traffic towards him. Stop using him as a way to make money. Metal Sucks put that article up because it will get a lot of clicks, and lots of clicks means lots of ad revenue. Same with Gear Gods. Even if Trey didn't monetize that video, it's still going to bring in footfall to his website, which in turn, in the long run, is good for you to make money. And like Trey's a really nice guy from the dealings that I've had with him. He won't have been thinking about it in that much depth. I might be saying this now and he might hear this and go, I didn't actually even really think about it like that. But yeah, if I want this guy to, you know, become a ghost and for no one to think of his name anymore, probably the best way for me to do about that to do that is to not give him any of my attention whatsoever. I think that would be a more effective way of dealing with this guy. And that's all the people that I've seen talking about this. Why are you talking about this? You don't like As I Lay Dying. You even say this in your post. You've never listened to As I Lay Dying. You had no intention of listening to As I Lay Dying. You're just making a status about it. So people know how good you are, what a nice person you are. I don't support this guy. Cool. Get on with your life. I don't care. Misha Mansour made a really funny post about this. He did a long, like, I've not commented on the situation yet. I've been thinking hard and I didn't know which side of the argument I fell on, but I've decided that I think I know where I stand now, and I'm willing to make a public statement on it. And then you click the continue reading thing and it said, I definitely hear Yanni. It's a Yanni Laurel thing, which to me, that actually says a lot. That actually said a hell of a lot. That said to me that Misha had really thought about this. Of course he's got a stance. Every single person has a stance on this. I could talk to my father-in-law, tell him what had happened, the situation. What do you think? He'll tell me his opinion.
Yes.
Misha has an opinion, but he's not going to write about it, not because he doesn't want to pick a side, I'm sure, because again, he's got a side, but because he just doesn't want to draw any attention to it.
Well, that's it. Like,
starve the guy.
Put it to bed in that respect, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
the same with we were going to talk about the Faceless, weren't we? That was something we were.
Funnily enough, their album's called "In Becoming a Ghost." You talk about ghosting people, and well,
they were booked for Bay Area Death Fest, right?
Yes, their ghastly appearance was probably just as well. Yep.
What happened?
Well, as you'll all be shocked to hear, they were 10 hours late to soundcheck, therefore didn't turn up for most of the festival. Turned up late in general. Spent about 2.5 hours, I think it was, maybe more, maybe less. Don't know if that's maybe just a figure I've plucked out the ear, but a significant amount of time after the last band had played, setting up, and played 4 songs. They were asked to play an album. I think the album was about 9 tracks, half an hour long, and they managed to play 4. And I've saw only a short clip of 1 track coming up to Michael Keane playing, and it is fucking dreadful. I mean, he looks like he's dying on stage. Just
so what's the solution?
Stop booking them.
Stop booking them.
Stop giving the Faceless a platform. That last album was fucking dreadful. They have had 3, maybe more, complete band quittals at one time, publicly. Every one of them slating them and saying you are a piece of shit. You really need to sort your shit out. You are fleecing people. You're selling tickets under the premise you're going to do this and you're not. And maybe, I don't know, maybe my compassion goes a bit too far when I say I think the guy deserves a bit of a break. He's quite clearly got his addiction issues. I mean, In Becoming a Ghost, the full album's pretty much, or the tracks that he actually wrote, which I think is about like 4 of 15, weren't just covers and re-recordings, are obviously about him having a lot of problems. I mean, the track they released from it was called The Spiraling Void, and that's all about him obviously struggling with addiction issues, and I think he deserves help with that, but he is still continually fucking people over. Continually. And
He's an addict. That's what they do.
Of course, and I've got really good friends who actually run and manage and help out at Bay Area Death Fest, and I feel sorry for them, but they saw it coming, to be fair to them. They had their own agreements, and I think they were aware of the sketchy history with the Faceless, and therefore whatever business happened there was their decision.
Don't book them. And it's the same with As I Lie Dying. Don't book them. But do you know what will be completely ineffective? Same as punching Nazis, right? What will be completely ineffective is going out and telling people you're a bad person if you want to listen to As I Lay Dying. If someone wants to listen to As I Lay Dying, I can absolutely assure you telling them that they shouldn't and that they're a bad person for wanting to listen to As I Lay Dying will just make them want to listen to As I Lay Dying even more. As a species, people don't like being told what to do. I find. Maybe that's just me. I don't like being told what to do, so I'm assuming other people don't like being told what to do.
You don't like being told anything that goes against what you think.
Yeah. No, I changed my opinions on things.
You're headstrong, but I think that's because you're critically rational, so your point of view comes from...
I'm pragmatic.
Pragmatic is a good way to put it, yep. Like, I've done my research enough to think this is the point that I'm sticking with.
I can have my mind changed.
Yes.
Yeah. We were talking about punching Nazis before this, and I've had my mind altered a little bit.
Maybe we should punch them.
Yeah, maybe we should, but we shouldn't. You should punch Nazis. Punch people that are actually Nazis.
Nazis.
Yeah, don't just say, that guy's a Nazi, I'm going to punch him.
Yeah.
Because you're often wrong. Marcus Meekin is not a Nazi. You retards. Sorry. So, I have to defend friends. So, yeah, what was I saying?
Don't punch Nazis, punch Nazis.
Yeah, but really punch Nazis. No, we're talking about the band. Oh yeah, so the thing is, the separating the art from the artist argument that some people are making as an argument, and then other people are saying you can't separate the art from the artist, you should never separate the art from the artist, kind of thing. I think it's incredibly easy to say that when the artist that you're saying you can't separate the art from the artist is someone that you don't give two shits about. It becomes a lot more difficult to do that when it's someone that you care about. I use Derek Trucks as the example. If Derek Trucks kicked the dog's head off, right? Bad man, terrible man. I love dogs. I have several. But if he kicked the dog's head off, I'm not going to like the guy, but it's not going to change the fact that I like his music. I can't change that fact. Call it pragmatism again. I can't separate that fact. If I like something, I like it, and knowing about the artist and that they've done bad things is not going to change that. It's simply not going to change that. It's easy for me to say that though if it's an artist that I don't like. Simple as that. Yeah. So why don't I reel off some artists so we can see if all these people that are being judgmental assholes showing off how good they are. Let's see if they are consistent in their views. Because what Tim did was awful, horrible human being. Though, I guess what I'm trying to get at here is people can be rehabilitated. He could feel terrible about what had happened. He could really, wish that he hadn't done what he'd done and learn a very important lesson.
Or it could be O.J. Simpson.
Or he could be O.J. Simpson, yeah. I can't decide one way or the other, but it's totally possible that he could be in the situation now where he's like, if I could wind the clock back, I absolutely wouldn't have done what I done. I did a terrible thing.
I'd have just killed her myself and not get caught.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm happy I'm happy that she wasn't actually hurt.
Of course.
I'm not trying to downplay what he did, but fortunately, no one actually lost their lives.
Yes.
We could list off artists though where people did lose their lives. Most notably, and not on the list that I pulled up here, Vince Neil, Motley Crue.
Murderer.
Killed someone, drink driving.
Vehicular manslaughter. Yep.
Yeah.
So he was Matthew Broderick as well, although he's an actor.
Yeah. What's up with that? Why do people still listen to Motley Crue?
Because it's rock and roll. Running people over is rock and roll.
I mean, as I lay
based on
dying,
your drunk driving.
That's even more rock and roll.
No, it's not. It's less rock and roll.
But you know what I mean? Like,
I get your point.
With Tim, like, he's tried to take a hit out on his wife. Worst case scenario, one person was going to be murdered, and fortunately, she wasn't. But in Vince Neil's case, he was a drink driver. Now, on the ground, there's no right and wrong, but on the scheme of who's a worse person, I think drunk drivers are scum of the earth. Because you're not just putting your life in risk or your passengers' lives in risk. It's pedestrians, it's other people on the road. Like,
yes,
scum of the earth.
The scope for harm's much higher than one person being chosen and paid for to be killed. Not that makes it right.
Yep.
But I get what you mean. Like, which has the potential for greater harm and risk and damage.
And in this case, someone did die. Why aren't people going after Motley Crue? Why?
Do people know much about that? I wasn't aware.
Were you not?
No.
Oh, I mean, I
don't really care about Motley Crue either.
Happened a long time ago. He did time for it, which is why John Corabi took over on vocals for a bit. But yeah, Vince Neil. So he was a murderer.
He was on a piece of shit list.
Not a murderer. Sorry, he was vehicular manslaughter. Piece of shit list. You know who else is a really popular band still all these years on? Sex Pistols.
Somehow.
Yeah. Not my cup of tea, but...
No, I think that their fans have generally got their ears painted on.
Iconic punk band, we can't argue that.
Well, I could definitely argue it when you've got Sid Vicious... Was it Sid Vicious? Johnny Rotten, sorry. Doing fucking butter adverts.
Yeah, I know.
Not punk. Not punk.
But that album, Never Mind the Bollocks, is...
It's iconic.
Yeah.
Even the artwork itself. There's so many different brands have taken that and used it to their advantage.
Yeah, and people... So... all Sex Pistols fans still like the Sex Pistols, despite the fact that Sid Vicious killed his girlfriend, stabbed her to death.
Yep.
Was out on bail for stabbing her to death and killed himself. OD'd. Piece of shit. Horrible piece of shit. But I don't see people trying to, you should never listen to a Sex Pistols album. There is some consistency, and I guess this is what we're getting at, right? Sid Vicious actually killed someone. Still listen to the albums.
Can we go one further and say that Sid and Nancy are seen as some sort of symbolistic?
Yeah.
Like, goal for couples.
I'd not even considered it until you just said Sid and Nancy. And
That's insane.
Yeah. Killed her. Right.
People say Sid and Nancy and obviously don't know that, or are happy to ignore.
Yeah.
Those that don't know or do know but don't pay attention to it, that Sid killed Nancy.
Yep. Leadbelly, an icon of the blues scene. Murder.
Argument over a woman, funnily enough.
Yeah. First jailed in 1915 for assaulting a Dallas prostitute, then escaped a chain gang, living under another name until he killed a man in an argument over a woman, was sentenced to 35 years. He wrote a song while inside for clemency and was pardoned for that. 5 years later, he was back in jail, convicted of attempted murder in a similar incident. Bad person.
Clearly.
But I don't see the blues fans, and I know them, trying to destroy Leadbelly. I mean, he's dead, so he can't perform anymore. But the list just goes on and on and on of people that are just bad people. Chuck Berry, armed robbery.
Not good.
Where does that fall on the scale of whether someone is deserving of forgiveness or not?
Large potential harm. Well, here's one that I never even considered. Right, probably shows my bias. I used to really enjoy the wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got fucking
Chris Benoit.
Exactly. The tragedy of him through fucking steroid abuse and multiple concussions and whatever other issues he had, murdering his family. Horrendous fucking act. And at the time I was quite not pissed off about it. Like, I could understand it, but I thought that's a shame that man's legacy is now gone. But quite rightly, the minute that happened, Vince McMahon made the announcement. We're incredibly saddened to hear everything that's happened, but Chris Benoit will no longer be featured in any information on wrestling.
Yeah, it's not quite
wiped.
That's not quite how that happened.
Oh, okay.
Again, Vince virtue signaler, as you'd expect. The news came in that Chris Benoit had died, so they did a tribute to him on the next night on Raw, when the details hadn't actually come out about what had happened.
I remember it.
That. Yeah, so there was a tribute to him on Raw. Where the details hadn't come out over what had happened, and I remember seeing it and going, "Hang on, there's some." He's not just like fallen in the bath, something's happened here, and then it turned out he killed his family. So they've wiped him from existence. They will never mention his name again, which I understand.
He's also out of the Hall of Fame and all that as well. You can't find any information about him on the website.
I don't think it was ever. He never made the Hall of Fame.
You sure?
Yeah. He will never obviously make.
I won't now, but I mean, like, he's been basically completely wiped from all history of wrestling as much as they could. There's
a great example of inconsistency though, because it's pretty well established that Jimmy Snuka murdered his girlfriend, and he's an icon of wrestling, and so they were gonna pin him for it, I believe, like 2 years ago, when they finally were like, right, we can get him for it, but he was too old, so they just definitely probably, I should say, definitely probably, in my opinion, probably a murderer. Before someone wants to get me on defamation, but point is,
we walk a fine line.
It's still totally, there's ambiguity and questions about whether or not he did something terrible, and he still went on and did his thing and was idolized by millions. I'll just jump through a couple more examples. We had an argument about Michael Jackson.
Yes, but we're not arguing about Michael Jackson. I think we're arguing about his criminality and his actions, and whether he actually was a sex offender or whether he was just a completely childhood devoid, messed up human being.
I think he was. You're right. He was a messed. I don't think I don't think Michael Jackson was a predator. I think he was an inadvertent predator.
I get where you're coming from. I totally understand.
Basically, I don't think there was any malice in what Michael was doing.
The context of our conversation earlier on was the Michael Jackson's actions towards children, were they sexually motivated or not, and whether that actually makes a difference in what the actual outcome was, whether the intent there was to be a predator or not shouldn't define whether he was or not, if that's the right way to put it. And then obviously I was talking about consent, and your very valid points. That kind of changed my opinion based on what you've said. It's
if you want to watch a difficult video, right, watch Count Dankula having a hour-long conversation with Amos Yee.
Was just the fucking paedophile guy?
The pro paedophile, the paedophile apologist, where he sits and tries to explain using peer-reviewed scientific studies and research on how not only can children consent, but sexual activity for between consenting children and adults is actually beneficial for children. Like your brain will implode at the stupidity that you're witnessing. that's worth digging out.
Don't think I'll be watching that.
Yeah. One last example then. Ozzy Osbourne. He did prison time for stealing clothes. As you do.
Another lesser known crime according to this fucking website.
But not even according to the website, according to Ozzy. He woke up in a jail cell.
No, I'm saying that like lesser known.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not on the list, funnily enough.
So he woke up in a jail cell while he was a raging alcoholic. He always commented on the the fear that you black out while drinking and then wake up having done something absolutely terrible, which he did numerous times, like pissing on the Alamo and stuff. But yeah, he woke up in a jail cell and was like, "Oh God, I've done it. What have I done?" And was trying to ask the officers, like, "What have I done? What am I in for?" And he was arrested for the attempted murder of Sharon Osbourne. And he tried to kill her. Like, not tried to take out a hit on her. Like, if she hadn't managed to fight her way out of the situation, she wouldn't be with us anymore. Like, what do we look at this situation with Ozzy and go, well, he was drunk, so we can forgive it a little bit? No, he tried to kill his wife.
Not so Levi still went and saw him.
Yeah, I know. I'm a terrible human being.
Not at all.
So stop being virtue signaling assholes. If somebody wants to listen to As I Lay Dying, you're not going to change their mind. I don't think you're going to change their mind.
I don't think there's any harm in trying, but that's their decision at the end of the day.
Yeah. If anything, you just make people like me jump in and go, hey, stop telling people what to do. And now it looks like I'm defending Tim when really I'm not. I also agree. Don't go see As I Lay Dying. Don't support them.
Don't give them any time of day.
Yeah, just don't give them the time of day. We're giving them the time of day now though, because I'm a contrarian.
This is actually a conversation I had with Andy, who suggested John Fulbright. Okay. And he was asking about it, and I was like, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't think he deserves any notice whatsoever. And I went right back on that by talking about it. So
to be fair, you turned up and I told you what we were talking about. I've been looking forward to talking about this one for a while.
Ironically, that you want to talk about it to say don't talk about it.
Yeah. No, because my position isn't like don't listen to them. It's if you want to listen to them, go and listen to them. It doesn't make you a bad person if you want to still enjoy music that you used to enjoy. Don't let other people grind you down and convince you that you're a bad person because you like listening to someone that's done bad things. Because there are people, we've all done. I sound like a Christian now. We've all done bad things. We're all horrible sinners. I'm not going to say we all deserve forgiveness because I'm actually really I hold grudges and I'm a vengeful person. But yeah, if you want to listen to As I Lay Dying, go and listen to As I Lay Dying. I'm not going to give you a hard time about it. I'm just going to give you a hard time for having such a fucking terrible taste in music.
Aye. Your ears will give you a hard time for having listened to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's it.
Sounds good to me. Just for everyone who's listening, thanks again for supporting us so far. 11 episodes is 11 more than I thought we'd ever actually get to. So we've done not bad, as ever. Like, share, tell your friends, tell your enemies. I could post about it on Facebook. Check us out on SoundCloud. Add us on Facebook. Send us suggestions. The lot. If you want advice, you want to suggest topics, you want to give us albums for the album club, you want to tell us our opinions are wrong, you want to challenge us on things. Even if you're interested in maybe even being a guest, hit us up.
Yeah.
We're always open. Always great to hear new ideas and bring new life to not stagnant, to an interesting setup.
Add something else to this strange dynamic we have going on.
Exactly. The great thing about opinions are they're like assholes. Everyone's got one.
Yep. And they stink.
They certainly can.
Yeah. So until next time.
Bye, fuckers.